If you were an opposing coach game planning to stop Caitlin Clark, what would you do?
Pray.
If you're an opposing coach game planning for Caitlin Clark, where do you even start? You can double team her 30 feet from the hoop. You can bump her off every cut, chase her over every screen, send help on every drive. You can tell your team, we are not letting her beat us tonight. And then she casually steps across half court, pulls up from the logo, and your entire defensive game plan evaporates before the ball even drops through the net. Analysts call her Kobe Bryant.
Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo! And a little point afterwards. She knows how to spark the crowd.
Analysts call her. Others call her the female Steph Curry, or simply box office. In Iowa, she's more than a nickname. She's an economy, a one-woman tourism boom. She's a reason road games sell out and ticket prices spike to NBA levels just for a chance to see what she'll do next. But before the sold-out arenas, before Clarkonomics, before records that put her name next to Steph Curry and Pistol Pete, there was just a little girl in Des Moines, Iowa, crying every time she lost and absolutely refusing to stay the same. Caitlin Clark didn't discover competition.
You know, I grew up a super competitive kid. Like, I loved the moment. I love when the lights shine the brightest. You know, I always grew up watching the game. I had cousins that played. So, you know, just a super competitive family, and I loved being around sports.
Caitlin Clark didn't. She grew up in a fiercely competitive family. Older brothers, cousins who played, weekends built entirely around sports. If there was a ball, there was a scoreboard. And if there was a scoreboard, Caitlin wanted to win. Her parents remember it clearly. Rec league soccer, rec league basketball, tiny uniforms and tiny hoops, and this kid pulling up from the free throw line on a 6 or 7-foot rim like it was the most natural thing in the world. In soccer, she just outrun everyone and score. In basketball, she already had that instinct to pull up, to take the shot, to be the one. But playing with the boys wasn't easy. She tagged along.
You know, I grew up watching the game. I had an older brother that played basketball, so I always tagged around with a lot of boys. And I think, you know, that kind of helped me like develop my offensive skill set at a younger age, a little faster than most people would. And then when I made that transition from boys basketball to girls basketball, I was, you know, already kind of a step ahead. And, you know, I always had the will to want to be better. You know, and I played up usually throughout AAU.
But with the older brother and his friends well into elementary school, then into middle school, far longer than most girls stuck it out. They were bigger, stronger, faster, and they gave her nothing for free. She lost constantly, and every time she lost, she cried. Not because she was soft, but because she couldn't stand not winning. Her mom's message was simple and blunt. If you want to play with them, you have to find a way to hold your own. No special treatment, no excuses.
Winning.
Growing up playing with the boys, like I played with the boys, honestly, I think until about 6th grade, which is probably a lot longer than most girls. And my older brother was always just bigger, stronger, faster. So whenever I wanted to play with him and his friends, like I just got picked on or you know, I never won really anything. I really struggled with understanding losing. And my parents did not really appreciate that at all. Whenever I would lose, when I was in either softball, basketball, whatever it was, I would just cry. That was my immediate reaction because I couldn't comprehend why wasn't I winning. And my mom always said, like, if you want to play with them, you got to find a way to hold your own.
Her mom's That's where the edge was born. The competitive fire that would later look like logo threes and dagger step backs started with a second grader who refused to be the weak link in the driveway. By 6th grade, the stakes got real. Caitlin joined the AAU circuit with All Iowa Attack, a program known for churning out killers, including future NBA champion Harrison Barnes. This wasn't just local kids anymore. It was the best of the best from across the country. College recruiting letters started arriving before she'd even hit 7th grade. Coaches kept saying the same things. She reads the floor differently. She's fearless. She always has the ball. She just controls the game. By high school, it was obvious this wasn't just another good player. At Dowling Catholic in Des Moines, Clark averaged over 27 points a game for her career and more than 33 a night as a senior. She turned gyms into stages. Teachers reportedly had to shut down pickup games in class.
But then I eventually went to like the AAU circuit around 6th grade, I want to say. And then probably by like 8th grade, I knew like, okay, like this can probably like be my future. Like I can go to college. Like I want to be a pro.
Because she got too competitive. Opposing coaches would show up, watch a few possessions, and lean over to whisper, "Who the hell is this?" Followed by the answer, the best player in the country, on top of the high school scoring. She made USA basketball youth squads and racked up gold medals. But the ride wasn't flawless. One year, as a rising junior, she showed up to USA basketball tryouts, having made the team and won gold the year before, and didn't make the final cut. She still calls it one of the lowest points of her basketball life. Instead of sulking, she treated it like gasoline. That's the pattern with her. Get knocked down, get angrier, get better. By the time college recruiting peaked, Clark could have gone almost anywhere. Her top 3 were Iowa, Iowa State, and Notre Dame. Big brands, big name coaches.
But I remember when you were a rising junior, they didn't put you on the team.
Yeah.
And that seemed to fire you up, just like it did Jordan when he didn't make the varsity team.
I went to try out the next year, and honestly, I hurt my pinky during training camp, but like I kept playing, like I was fine, but also I just played really bad. I didn't deserve to be on the team. So I think, honestly, like that's one of the lowest points of my basketball career is like, you're on the team the previous year, you win a gold medal, and then you go back to try out with all your teammates from the prior year. But I think it really allowed me to like find another fire, and I think it just pushed me to work even harder and get better and, want to prove people wrong.
But national platforms. But underneath all the hype, her reasoning was simple. She wanted to stay close to her family. She wanted people she trusted and a coach who believed in her. Iowa had Lisa Bludder, the winningest coach in Big Ten history, and Jan Jensen, who flew halfway around the world just to watch Caitlin play for USA basketball in person. That kind of commitment meant something. It went beyond a phone call and a glossy brochure. There was no Hollywood signing day twist. It just felt right. The most hype recruit in the country chose to stay home. From day one in Iowa City, there was no easing in, no freshman redshirt year. She stepped on campus, and the team was immediately hers. Starting point guard, franchise player, from game one. The class.
It takes a lot of thought. Like, it's a big decision. It's where you're going to spend the next 4 years of your life. So took quite a few visits, and eventually, like, my top 3 were Iowa, Iowa State, and Notre Dame. Mostly because I love the schools, but at the same time, like, I knew I wanted to be close to my family. But obviously, Coach Bluder, she's one of the best coaches of all time, the winningest coach in Big Ten history. On my visits here, I always love the girls, I love the town, I love the coaches. So it kind of just seemed like everything kind of fell into place, and like, this is where I should be. And now that I'm here, I know I definitely made the right decision, and I've loved every second.
It wasn't some Hollywood
inevitable. On one side, Lisa Bludder, who built a winning program on structure, discipline, and a defined system. On the other, Caitlin Clark, a controlled chaos machine whose best basketball sometimes happens 28 feet from the rim with 2 defenders in her face. People close to the program will tell you freshman year had its friction. Not toxic, just a natural tension of a legendary coach shaping a generational talent who could only ever be herself. But once the ball went up, nothing could hold her back. As a freshman, Clark didn't just put up good numbers. She stormed the Big Ten. She led the nation in scoring, won Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and became the first freshman ever to win the Dawn Staley Award for the nation's best guard. First year in, and already the best guard in America, the game looked fast for everyone else. For her, it looked slow. Her sophomore season was supposed to be the next step. Fans were back in full arenas after the pandemic years, and people across the country were tuning in just to watch her. Iowa games became events. She kept piling up numbers, deep threes, ridiculous assists, stat lines that looked like video game settings, and added more hardware. Another Dawn Staley Award, Big Ten Player of the Year. But March is unforgiving. In 2022, Iowa was upset at home by a 10 seed in the second round, in front of a sold-out Carver Hawkeye Arena. A deep tournament run gone in 40 minutes. For most players, that's just heartbreak. For Clark, it was fuel. Heading into her junior year, the whole program had one target.
Clark from the logo! She gets it out of that left hand, and it's money. A T1. You bet! He's trying to redirect a pass. Clark. Oh, my! Clark, can she answer? Of course. You better be careful. There might be another one coming right here. Ducharme has good size. Clark steps into a deep three. A long three by Clark.
Her sophomore year.
Final four. We know it takes some luck, a good draw, a lot of hard work. She said, but we're going to do everything we can to get there. And then she did more than that. Night after night, the game slowed down even further for her. No panic, no rush. Need a bucket? She'll get one. Need a momentum-shifting pass? She'll see it a full beat before the defense does. Iowa sold out every home game. Opposing arenas filled up just for a chance to see her. She became what one writer called box office. People weren't coming to see the Hawkeyes. They were coming to see her. Then March Madness hit, and she turned the tournament into her own streaming series. Georgia pushed Iowa to the brink, stirring flashbacks to that earlier upset, but they survived. They handled Colorado. Then came Louisville, and that game wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Step backs, logo threes, no-look lobs. She dropped a 41-point triple-double in an Elite Eight game, something nobody, man or woman, had ever done in NCAA tournament history. It's the kind of stat line that sounds made up until you actually watch it. From there, Iowa marched to the Final Four and ran straight into a buzzsaw. Undefeated, defending champion South Carolina, riding a 46-game win streak. Everyone expected the Gamecocks to blow the game open with an early run and end the fairy tale. Clark wouldn't let the story end there. Deep threes, clutch plays, total fearlessness.
Here comes Clark. How will she go for history? There it is! The all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball.
Glue of the team, the mother hen as they've called her.
Caitlin Clark hits the three-pointer, and Clark makes history once again. No one in the history of the sport has hit more threes in a season than Clark has this year.
And with that, beats none other than Steph Curry, arguably the greatest shooter of all time in the men's or women's game.
This for college basketball history. She does it with a foul shot. Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball history, passing Pistol Pete Maravich.
Georgia pushed
Iowa shocked the world and sent South Carolina home. The title game that followed didn't have a storybook ending. Iowa came up one win short, but her words afterward said everything about who she was becoming. Not just a scorer, but someone who understood exactly what she was carrying, the impact on young girls, on the state of Iowa, on the sport itself. By this point, Caitlin Clark wasn't just a star, she was a market. People started calling it Clarkonomics. A nonpartisan research group estimated she generated more than $50 million in economic impact for Iowa in a single year. Tickets, hotels, restaurants, local businesses. It wasn't confined to the arena. It touched entire cities. Ticket prices for her games reached levels that embarrassed some NBA playoff matchups, with fans paying hundreds of dollars just to get in the building. Homemade signs showed up in arenas nationwide. Fans who'd flown in from Boston, driven 10 hours, just to watch her play. It wasn't only in-person demand either. TV ratings spiked.
You know, it's really, really special, and I don't think it's going to set in for me for quite some time. I want my legacy to be the impact that I can have on young kids and the people in the state of Iowa. And I hope I brought them a lot of joy this season. I hope this team brought them a lot of joy. I understand we came up one win short, but I think we have a lot to be proud of and a lot to celebrate. And I was just that young girl, so all you have to do is dream, and you can be in moments like this.
That's
Clips
not
went
just
viral, and people who couldn't tell a 2 to 3 zone from a zipper cut suddenly knew one thing: that Iowa guard pulling off on the logo was must-see television. She shattered records in bulk. The all-time NCAA women's scoring record, the single-season three-point record, passing even Steph Curry's college mark, and the major college scoring record, passing Pistol Pete Maravich. Every broken record sparked the same debate. Is she the greatest we've ever seen? That's what happens when your ordinary routine looks like the best moment of most other players' careers. Then came the WNBA. It was the least surprising, most consequential draft pick in years. Overnight, a struggling franchise became the center of the basketball universe. The expectations weren't fair, but they were real. People wanted instant.
This is the Caitlin Clark effect. The highest ticket price in women's college basketball happened earlier in the year. Now this has to be the highest sessions average ticket price in the history of the tournament. What a business. What a monster Caitlin Clark really is.
Miracles, and it wasn't sellouts, wins, viral highlights, a total turnaround. She delivered plenty of it right away. The logo threes came with her, the dimes came with her, and so did the cameras, the ticket demand, and the broadcast numbers. But the WNBA wasn't going to hand her anything. From day one, the physicality was real, sometimes reckless, hard screens, hits on drives. Welcome to the league fouls that felt more like messages than basketball plays. Some veterans embraced her. Others rolled their eyes, called her a media creation, insisted she needed a championship before she earned any respect. Critics lined up with their talking points. Not the GOAT, overhyped, riding privilege. Almost overnight, a 22-year-old rookie wasn't just running pick and rolls. She was standing at the center of a culture war she never asked to be part of. Meanwhile, the results weren't instant. Indiana had the
Caitlin Clark the best player ever? What is the answer?
I will say respectfully, no. Caitlin Clark is not the greatest player of all time.
The marketplace decides that. The people have chosen Caitlin Clark. They enjoy watching her play, her style, her energy, her shot.
The female version of Steph Curry, or do I need to call Steph Curry the male version of Caitlin Clark? I mean, which one is it?
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
Number one pick for a reason. They were a bad team. Wins were hard to find. Every mistake got magnified. Every loss became a segment. Every hard foul turned into a debate show topic. But inside the grind, something familiar was happening. She was learning, adjusting, absorbing the hits, studying film, finding new reads, building chemistry with Leah Boston, notching her first WNBA triple-double, hitting her first true pro logo bomb. Game by game, more flashes of the same killer who torched
Carter and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? I think that's going to be a flagrant one, and
I'm talking about in college. Who plays the style that how?
What is the style? Just threes?
Wow.
What,
not just threes.
What is her style?
Second page. Next question. So you had the number one pick this year. You would take Paige over Caitlin?
Absolutely.
Does Caitlin Clark need a championship to be considered one of the greats in women's college basketball history?
Yeah.
She does.
From day one, offenses started to show up. And through all of it, she kept repeating the same line. She gets just as much joy from throwing a great pass as she does from making a logo three. Not a diva, not a victim, just a hooper. Here's the truth. Caitlin Clark doesn't just change box scores. She changes expectations. She's forcing people to rethink what women's basketball can look like, feel like, and earn like. She's proving women can play with the same passion, swagger, and edge that's been celebrated in men's sports for decades. The joy, the fire, the trash talk, the "are you kidding me" shots that somehow keep falling. That's what's pulling kids, boys and girls alike, into gyms and driveways trying to copy her. And she's doing all of it without needing to be anyone but herself. She doesn't need to be the female version of Steph or Kobe.
They've got numbers, and she will wisely hold it up. That quick pass. Suarez picks it off.
Those free throws for Brianna Stewart, now 24th all time on the WNBA scoring list. And the Liberty looking for more. Ionescu
waits, takes, and Thomas off and running for Connecticut. Carrington lays it in as the Sun turn it into quick transition points.
This shot going off the court and all the way up to the tunnel. This was a long conversation, and I love Aaliyah Boston pouring into this young rookie. It's supposed to be hard. This is an adjustment period, and Aaliyah making sure that her rookie knows we have your back. I love that leadership from Aaliyah Boston. It has been a hard first half.
But inside,
she's Caitlin Clark, the little girl from Iowa who wrote WNBA on a piece of paper in second grade and then spent years turning that doodle into reality. Her story is still being written. There will be more records, more sellouts, more viral nights, and also more hard fouls, rough shooting nights, criticism, and pressure. That's the cost of playing with the spotlight, turned all the way up. But if there's one constant throughout her life, it's this: she gets knocked down and she gets better. She comes back with something new, from crying over rec league losses to getting
coming into the game. Logo! Clark with a deep three. Three that you've been waiting for. Clark, nice feed. Wallace with the layup. And Caitlin Clark catalyzing a comeback here. Bonner gets denied by Boston. Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
Look at Wheeler staring to the right side, knows who's there, drop pass behind. Could be the deepest shot we've seen Caitlin Clark make as a pro. Big one.
And this building is rocking.
here's the
a USA team to a stunning home loss in the NCAA tournament, to now carrying a state, a program, and an entire professional league on her shoulders. She has always answered with work. The real question isn't whether Caitlin Clark will show up. She will. The real question is whether everyone around her, coaches, referees, executives, media, will rise to meet the moment, because you don't need to worship a star to build around her. You need to protect the value she creates. Protect your shooters, celebrate your stars, tell the truth, and act like adults about the business. Caitlin Clark is changing women's basketball forever, not simply because she exists, but because every night she steps on the floor, she forces a sport to make a choice. Pride or progress, the old clubhouse or the business it's becoming. Fear of change, or the courage to let a girl from Iowa drag the game into a bigger future. And if you don't believe it yet, just wait for the next Logo 3.
Takes you back for a second, because I think, you don't always realize the impact that you can have on people. It goes way further than, making a Logo 3 or making a cool pass or, even winning a basketball game. I think that's what's more important to me, is the joy I can bring people, and people need to start understanding that women can play with that same passion, that competitive spirit that men have played with for years. And that's what's attracting people to our game, is when women are, fiery, when they're competitive, when they're feisty, when they're encouraging their teammates. You want to have that excitement to the game, and that's what's only going to, help the viewership go up even more and more, and that's exactly what we want to do.